Hey everyone, it's Pete here at Spawn Fly Fish, and today we are going to tie up a fun little fly called the Sound Searcher, made famous by Mike McCoy. And it's just a fun fly to throw in Puget Sound and watch the cutthroat come and just explode on that thing. So a little top water action, little minnow pattern that just looks super fishy and ready to catch some fish. So have a great day, and if this video does anything for you, please remember just to hit like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Hey everyone, Pete again here at Spawn Fly Fish, and today we're looking at tying a little Sound Searcher. This was a Mike McCoy pattern. It's meant to emulate a bait fish that's either feeding at the surface or maybe even injured a little bit. Super fun fly, floats like crazy, fishes a little bit like a gurgler style fly, and fish just can't help themselves but to eat it. So we got our thread started. This is just some gray 6/0 uni, and before you get started on this fly, it might behoove you to just cut out some foam. This is 2mm thin foam, gray from Hairline, and it's all I'm trying to do is mimic a small bait fish looking deal. And then once you've got that, there's not a whole lot to this fly, so let's keep it simple if we can. I'm just gonna grab a little bit of Polar Wind Ice Wing, and this stuff is really reflective. You can see it's got a lot of shimmer and picks up a lot of other unique colors. And we're just gonna tie in a small portion for the tail real quick. So I'm gonna double that over the thread, pinch in my offhand, and bring that and the thread to the shank at the same time here. Get a couple wraps in front, and then as you tie back down, all this is cinched in and it's not going anywhere. Just as a general cut here, I'm going to look at the length of the shank on our hook and pretty much just match that. Maybe give a little angle there. Nothing to it. All right, so come back to where our tie off is of the tail here. And let's grab our little foam minnow, and we're just gonna slip that right in about like so. So you kind of see you want the hook to center in that silhouette, if you will. I'm gonna go over the top and then pull down over the top and then pull straight down, and do that 3 or 4 times. And this is what the bottom of that fly is gonna look like. And that's it for now. Get that thread in front of the foam, leave it back there. It's not going to get too crazy on you. We are going to form a loop here with our thread, and so as I bring that thread back up, a couple wraps forward, come back to where we started. I'm going to loop around this 3 times, 2, 3, and bring that knot right up to where we began. Tie it back down one more time, and now that is not going anywhere. So let's bring our thread up toward the front there. And I'm just gonna put my dubbing twister right into that thread and hold it in place. So now what we have to do is we're gonna just cut this in half, and we're going to cut that in half again. So there's our first in half, and as you look at these fibers, stack them over each other one more time and cut it in half again. Now we've got a bunch of that 1.5 to 2 inch length fiber, and I'm actually going to go ahead and cut this bunch in half once again. All right, and just like you were doing a regular dubbing loop, we're gonna just kind of pull this out and stack. Our loop is waiting for us, so let's get this stuff in. Space it out just a touch. Get our twisting tool back in there, our spinner. All right, and I would say we're looking at maybe a 2.5 inch stack of fibers. Let's get this spun up. And on this, you don't have to go quite as crazy with the brush like you do on some complex twists or regular dubbing loops. But if you do have a little brush handy, go ahead and kick some of those fibers out just to make sure it's not all trapped in there. There we go. So that's more the look we're going for. And then as we wrap this, every time we wrap, we're going to move those fibers back toward the butt of the fly or toward the hook bend. Forgive my fingers here for a second. And let's just get this progressed all the way up to where our thread is. Again, not a crazy fly, nothing difficult here. There are other ways to add the flash. You don't have to necessarily use a loop, and you can make this any color you want to match the little fish that you're trying to emulate. All right, we got it up there. Let's tie this loop off. A couple thread wraps. Take the tool out of our loop and then pull down, move that thread wrap back, tag end of our loop, and it is trapped. At this point, get your bodkin and move the fibers out from the top so that they move along both sides, and we can bring the foam the rest of the way over. And again, kind of a gentle wrap to get this lined up, and once it is, and then we pull straight down, and 2, 3, and you can see nothing too crazy there, nothing crazy on the bottom. If you like your foam position, go ahead and a couple more solidifying wraps and we'll go right into the whip finish. And you can see we don't have a lot of room for this whip finish here. So let's just get 1, 2, 3, and 4 wraps. And let's do one more whip finish just to make this a super strong fly, because we are expecting this to get eaten. And go in here, clip that out. And now you see as you look at the bottom of this fly, you're gonna have fibers that don't quite fit the profile, and you can just simply go in and trim some of those right out. And at the end of when you're done tying your fly, you can really match that up and line it up. The beauty is as it gets wet, all those fibers are gonna kind of mush together anyway. So it won't be quite as noticeable as you might think. And then for our visibility factor, we need to give this guy some eyeballs so he can see. And what we've got are the spawn. And this is a 6mm glow eye. And I like the little bit of red in there. Just make sure it's seen. And we're just gonna go ahead and adhere that right underneath, and I want that sitting right behind the eye of the hook. And once you've got that where you want, go ahead and come in. This is some Loon UV clear, and this is the thin version. And we're just going to hit right around the eye and get it to set right there. Just make sure you're not putting a lot of resin in the actual hook eye. That would be no good. And so once you've got just enough to catch that, go ahead and cure it. And once it's holding on, we can go ahead and do another layer or two of our resin and really make sure that eyeball's not going anywhere. All right. So now let's add just a touch more on the sides. You can see it's still moving around a little on us. The nice thing about this fly too is you can tie a bunch of these in a hurry, and the fish love this fly. All right, that looks pretty good there. And once we're done with this, you know, I'm not ashamed to go back and add a couple more layers of resin, but I want you guys just to get an idea of how this fly should look and feel. Not too bad. All right, so there we have the sound searcher. And again, make sure these eyes are solidified on there. Typically I'll throw a little bit of super glue underneath, let these all dry until I have all of them tied up, and then go back and add the resin. So I'll have it staged out. It's a little bit more efficient that way. But as you can see, when this is trimming along the water as you're stripping it, it causes a little bit of disturbance like a gurgler, and it looks like a bait fish on its side, and the fish just can't help themselves but to eat that. So thanks for joining us, and if you enjoyed this video, please remember to hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.